Welcome to the house that Ross built. Today we have J.R. Fenwick, a regular guest on our show, and we're going to start this year, at the end of the year, we're going to start talking about how we benefit from the situation that we're in, right? We've talked about it. A lot of people have talked about it. I believe the situation that we're facing now with all the politics and stuff that's going on is actually going to create a crunch for us, or going to create an opportunity for us to take advantage of some situations that are out there if we're aware of them and if we follow, the path that'll get us to where we need to get. So today, me and JR are going to discuss that a little bit. How you doing today, JR?
Man, I'm doing fantastic, fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm doing awesome. I can't complain. Short week, so we gotta gonna have a little downtime for the next couple of days.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I need it, bro. I need it.
Yeah,
So,
it's
what you have
been
been going
very
on
busy
lately?
out here. Say
Yeah.
again?
I said, what have you been going on the last month or so? We haven't
Well,
talked
I
in a while.
mean, I think a lot of people are they're still kind of, I guess, in recovery mode from the election, and a lot of people in shock. Some people upset. Some people scared to death. Some people desperate. I don't know, and so I look at it a little differently. I did a training session the other day, and I put a picture up of the person who is going to be coming into office, right, and into the White House. And I said, well, before I put the picture up, I told people I'm going to put a picture up, and I want you to just tell me the first thing that comes to mind. I didn't tell them of what. I didn't give any clues or anything. So I put a picture up of Trump, and man, the chat just lit up, and it was not positive. It was not kind, right? And so I was like, you guys get it out, get it out. But here's the situation. Um, it's not the candidate that I would have preferred to be in office. But at the end of the day, we have to take control of our lives, and take ownership of that, right? The person who's in the White House doesn't dictate how you live your life, day to day, and what you can and can't achieve. All right. There's
Yeah.
some people, and one of the reasons that a lot of people's candidate didn't get in because they didn't vote because they don't believe that there's any, um, there's no benefit to voting. So we got to take ownership of that. But be that as it may, I look at it like this: uh, there's always opportunity, irrespective of who's in the White House, and you got to look at what does that person stand for. Okay, and so when I look at what this person stands for, business person, he's going to look out for businesses and his wealthy friends. And what does that mean? He's going to be cutting taxes. All right. And one of the things that he's going to cut, more than likely, I give it a 99.99% chance that he's going to cut um, capital gains tax. And so capital gains is when you buy stock and you sell it for a profit, that profit is called capital gains. You sell a house, as you know, and you make that profit, is called capital gains. And the wealthy, and really probably nobody wants to really pay a lot of taxes, right? And so I look forward to, hey, well, now you weren't my candidate, but you're in there, and I'm rooting for you. Cut them taxes, right? Give us more write-offs for businesses. Go and look, I'm rooting for you. Go ahead, man, do it. You said you're gonna do all this stuff. Now go do it when it comes to the business world. But here's where we have to be savvy, and that is that we have to say we got to learn the game, right?
I learned.
A lot of times we just march around protesting and all this stuff. That's not putting no money in your pocket. That's not changing your lifestyle, this, that, and the other. And it's not going to take him out of office. So let's look at what, we can do to enhance our lives through learning how the game is played, the business game, the tax game, and let's take advantage of it from that perspective. So that's how I look at
Me too. I'm the same way. Because I'm a business owner. I'm an investor, just like you and like other guests
it.
on here. That there's going to be some benefit out there for us. Actually, the benefit for everybody if they take advantage of it. Go and start
Sure.
a business. You know what I mean? Go sign up for Flip That Stock. Go, um, buy a property, all those things that you can take advantage of now and 10x your money.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that it's irrespective of who's in office, there's always opportunities in the stock market. As you have learned, is that there's always opportunities. But when certain people get in office, the markets can fluctuate up and down, uh, more frequently. I'm not saying that I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know this for a fact, but I'm saying, people, when they start speaking, they can make the markets go up and down, right? Certain people. And so if we know this and we know how to go in and trade the market, then we have an opportunity to generate income, right? If if you think about it like this too, he's probably going to come in and relax the rules around regulations of companies and stuff. All right, well, what is the stock market made up? It's made up of companies. So now these companies can do more things. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, but they can do more things. And so uh, they may be able to generate more revenues and profits because of that, and their value may go up. So their stock value. So there's a lot of different ways to look at this stuff. A lot of people are talking about the tariffs and how's that going to work. He's made it out like these tariffs are going to benefit us and make prices go down. But then some people are saying, no, we're going to have to pay for those. So we just kind of have to watch and see where all this is going, and then be able to maneuver, right? If you think about this, Ross, like, probably people don't think about this, but let's say, in the DC area where I live, they have a beltway. It's like a big loop, a big circle, right? And all around this circle has many exits that you can get off of. And so you get on the beltway, and many times it's backed up for a host of reasons. Weather, it could be an unfortunate accident, it could be all kind. But while it's inconvenient and it might, slow us down some, usually we're thinking, okay, well, I can get off on this exit, I can do this. If it's backed up, I can go this other route, right? That's the way we want to be thinking. We don't want to be like, banging on the steering wheel, ripping the steering wheel out and saying, uh, it's the end of the world. No, there's opportunities out here. And if they're if these opportunities are being created for certain groups of people, i.e. business owners, i.e. wealthy people, i.e. people who want to lower their taxes, we can look at those same things as well.
And
So,
and we can fit in all those categories. I think in our community where because we weren't taught wealth, we don't see that in our grasp for us to be able to
yeah,
attain wealth. But we're trying to show you guys that if you learn what they know, then you could get what they have.
right. Well, I'll tell you this: never before can I think of a more critical time to start learning. Right? Um, you know, uh, we have the holiday season right upon us right now. In a few days, we got Black Friday, which is the biggest shopping day of the year, and we're the biggest consumers on the planet, right? We know how to shop, and so this is a time where this holiday season you really want to think about, what am I spending my money on, right? We can go out and spend it on the phones and the clothes and cars and you know uh, uh, jewelry and all that type stuff, right? As a matter of fact, I did some research when I was looking up how much we spend, right? And it's almost 2 trillion a year.
Hmm.
But I came across this term called being it's called visible consumption. And visible consumption means that we are, as a people, are more likely to buy stuff and pay more for stuff that other people can see on us, right? The watch, the jewelry, the clothes, the shoes, the car, because we want to be recognized as important. And if you think about it, it makes sense because, we face racism a lot and all this, and a lot of times people trying to beat us down. So we're trying to feel important and look important, right? But we're suffering on the back end, right? We're suffering financially. And so this is a year and a holiday season where we really want to take note of, okay, what am I spending my money on? And I suggest you spend your money on investing in yourself and getting some type of skill set. We teach people how to flip stocks, as you know, hence the name Flip That Stock. We have a new program called Shop for Stocks Online, where we created a mall like, just like Amazon. You go shopping on Amazon and buy products and products, you're a consumer. You go shopping and shop for stocks online, and we teach you how to buy ownership in companies. Now you're an owner, right? And so I would suggest to your listening audience say, okay, let me get at least one new money making skill set going into the new year. Ross, I know you're an expert at flipping houses. And I think we're going to have a pretty big announcement coming in the future, in the very near future. But think about I'm not saying you got to take all your money, right? Because we know that's not going to happen. But
No, it ain't gonna happen.
it ain't going to happen. But take a portion of it and say, I'm going to commit this portion to learning a new money making skill that can enhance my life, my family's life, my community's life, right? Because that's what's happening now. There's a lot of stuff that's probably going to change, but change doesn't always mean it's the end of the world. Change can mean there's massive opportunities for those who know what's going on.
Yeah. And let me add a little something to that because, you know, people think maybe take a course like yours that they need to have cash to pay for the course or they need to have all this cash to flip a stock. Most of you guys are going to spend money on the holiday season with your credit card. That's other people's money. If you have a $5,000 limit, all right, take a couple thousand of that, invest in some stocks, invest in a course that teach you how to make money for the rest of your life. And you can pay a little bit of time, $20, $30 a month. And you still have some money on the side to buy your gifts and so on and so forth. So it's just a matter of where you're funneling your money to or at.
Yeah, and it's funny because when you look at credit card debt, which is at the highest that it's ever been in U.S. history, most of that credit card debt is on stuff that does not benefit you or us financially. Like I said, the clothes or a vacation or shoes or a car or whatever, right? So, think about this using other people's money to learn a skill set that can generate you money.
Yep.
And, you know, you in many instances can write this off if you have a business because it's an educational course and things like that. That's how people with money and people who are rich and wealthy think, right? They're always looking to enhance their knowledge, but also to um, buy assets that will produce money for them. And so when you start changing your thinking a little bit, and I think that's a great idea. You said you got this credit card, use some of it if you need to, but buy something that is going to educate you and enhance your self development because that's where it's at. That's where it's at. I heard this one saying like you go into a wealthy person's uh, house, and you know all of them have a library. Now the question is, did they get there because the library is in their house, right? Or did they got the house because of the library? Like right here, check this out. I'm gonna go out. I see this right here. Oh, actually, I don't know if you can see it because of my
No,
background.
yeah, it's not
Uh,
coming in.
I'm trying to put it at some kind of angle, but I just picked up a stack of books, like 2, 4, 6 uh, books here, and all kind of books on uh, making money, enhancing personal development. And this is just up here in my upstairs office. So and then downstairs I got a stack of books, and then I got audio books. Um, there's a company called Audible, and I download their app, and I think their subscription is like $15 a month or something like that.
Yeah.
You get so many credits, So I'm always listening to something and learning. But I'll say this, right? The number one way that I have found to get good at something and proficient at something is just to pay somebody. It's
That's
to
it.
pay them. because you think about this, Ross, like if you take uh the Olympic athletes, right? These most well-conditioned athletes in the world,
Yeah,
and they go, whatever city they're going to have the Olympics in. Don't they always have a coach?
they have a coach. That's right.
Now,
Every
now
city.
the yeah, now the question I want your listeners to think about is these are people who get up and train 2, 4, 6, 8 hours a day for years on end. They know how to do it. Why do they have a coach going with them to the Olympics? Why do they have a coach when they're training? Right? Why don't they just read a book? Why don't they just watch a YouTube video and take the YouTube video with them when they go to the Olympics? So you see what I'm saying? So the clues, the path is right there in front of us. It's telling us. You look at any successful person in sports, entertainment, business, even politics, behind the scenes, there's some coaches, there's some advisors, there's somebody that is saying, hey, they're seeing blind spots that you can't see. And they're offering ways to get around those blind spots, take shortcuts and stuff like that. And so that's going to be the name of the game. He who educates himself the most, connects with people who have experience and can demonstrate what they do. That's going to be another one. I can tell you that there's going to be a lot of con artists popping up
Oh,
in the
for sure.
coming year because people are going to be desperate. They're going to be desperate because fear leads to desperation.
Yeah.
And when there's a lot of desperate people out here who want to make money, you're going to see con artists just popping up everywhere, right? And so you really got to be diligent about who you're going to work with, who you're going to do business with, uh, and can they demonstrate? Ross, we have our trainings twice a week, right? And I go in and I demonstrate every training exactly what I'm talking about when I'm flipping stocks. I can't
Yep.
fake it. I can't make it up. Y'all are looking at me live with live stock market data, right? You see either I can do what I'm saying I can do or not. You see, does my system work or not? I can't fake that, right?
Yeah.
So, but there will be a bunch of fakes out here. So,
Here's the thing when you talk about the fear part. So when you educate yourself, you buy a program that's going to teach you how to flip stocks or, you know, learn about real estate, so on and so forth. What that does, that knowledge, first of all, gives you hope for the future,
mhm,
eliminates fear. And also it gives you some type of game plan or goal that you can set to say, hey, maybe in the next year, once I learn this, I can make this amount of money. So that's going to eliminate fear as well. And that's really
mhm.
how you get rid of the fear. There's no other way. You can't sit around and, somebody else comes in the office or, you do this, you do that. You got to get up and do something to eliminate the fear.
Right. You got to take action, right? And
Action.
even people say, well, I'm praying. Well, prayer alone is not going to do it. You got to pray and then you got to act on whatever you're praying for and stuff like that. But I got a question for you because um, we might have talked about this a little bit in the past, but your listeners and people know you as a real estate expert, right? And so when
Yeah.
we met, you told me, in all honesty, like I don't believe in the stock market, and so you went from that to signing up, seeing me demonstrate it, learning it, and now doing it yourself, and now believing in the stock market, right? So my question to you is, you didn't believe in the stock market. What was it that made you say, "I'll stay open to this"? Right? Yeah. What was there
Few,
something?
few things. First of all, and we talk a lot about that. We just talked about your mindset.
Hmm.
If you have an open mindset, if you have an entrepreneur mindset, if you have a mindset that, if it's gonna be, it's up to me type of mindset, then
Hmm.
when an opportunity is presented to you, you're gonna at least look at it, right? You presented
Right.
the opportunity. I looked at it, right?
Right.
Knowing that I know your brother, I trusted you. And that's irrelevant because just, I know I have uncles and things like that may be con artists, so that isn't for me because I know your brother that makes you honest. But when
Uh-huh.
after we talked, you gave me a demonstration, you sent me a bunch of stuff that I could look at, that I could research. And then we got on a private call and you said, hey, this is how it is, this is what we do, this is how it looks. When somebody can, I'm the believer again, it's a mindset that if one man can do it, any man can do it, right? For the
Hmm.
most part. for the most part. So you're showing me how to trade stocks. I know you've been doing it for a long time. You're very successful at it. So I'm looking at you and like, hey, if he can do it, I can do it. Just show me how to do
Mm-hmm.
it. And I made the
Right.
decision based on that.
So you went from I don't know anything about this and I don't believe in it to, well, you know what? Let me at least keep an open mind and see, you know, what it's about. Right. And that in itself, I commend you on, because a lot of people don't do that. They come and they just say, oh, you're gonna lose all your money in the stock market. Or man, that's for a certain type of people. That ain't for us. Or I just crazy stuff, right? And we're missing out. And all you got to do is look at, this isn't no big secret. The three biggest wealth creators owning a business, real estate, stock market, not in any particular order, right? That's where the money's at, right? And it's been proven time and time again, year, decade, century after century. So if you don't understand something, keep an open mind and say, I want to get educated on it,
Yeah.
do yourself that favor, because when you have a closed mind, you could definitely be missing out on a whole lot.
Most times you are. Most times you are. And again, I think that's the key. What you just said, that, the three biggest wealth creators, that's really the only way you're going to create wealth. We all want to, imitate the rappers, the athletes, the ball players. And not only, you don't have to imitate them. You can take this stock, you can take real estate, you can take business, and you could have that lifestyle. You might not have the fame because you're not on TV or so on and so forth,
Right.
but you can have that lifestyle. It's there for you.
Yeah, it's there for anybody who's willing to put in the work, right? And I think one of the particular challenges is social media, because you go on social media, everybody is driving a Ferrari and doing this and doing that and doing the other, and so I was at a seminar and somebody said, well, what kind of car do you drive? I said, well, I drive a Bugatti. I have a Bugatti. And the whole audience was like, oh, dang. I said, it's just disguised as a Chevy Malibu. Right. And so, but the Chevy Malibu is paid off, right? And I like it. It does what I needed to do, which is get me from point A to point B, right? Now I'd be less than honest if I didn't say I went through that phase where I had all different kind of trucks and cars and this and that and the other, and it was fun and blah blah blah. But after a while, you see that big old car note, and you're like, is it really worth all this, right? So I like having skill sets that can generate money, that can pay for those things if you want them or not, you know. Um, but that's what it all boils down to, that. And the way you get to that skill is I follow a 3-step process. People had asked me, they were like, yeah, man, you always seem to get what you want. And I was doing an interview, kind of like what I was doing with you, and somebody called in and asked that question, and it kind of stumped me, because I was like, dang, and thinking about it, I don't even think about it. Like when I think about I want something, my mind automatically goes into I'm going to get it. But when I really went back and dissected it, I found everything that I was successful at and highly skilled at, I followed the same 3 principles, 3 steps. One, I was crystal clear as to what I wanted, right? When I wanted to learn to play guitar, I was crystal clear. I wanted to play the guitar, be able to play like George Benson and back in the day, the Brothers Johnson and those, groups like that. I was crystal clear about it. I knew what kind of guitar I wanted, everything, right? So you got to get a crystal clear vision. When I got into martial arts, I was crystal clear. I want that black belt in this particular style, and I was very focused. And so the first thing is get crystal clear on what you want. Know the details of what you want, because how can you get it if you don't want it? The second thing was find an instructor who has several characteristics. One, passionate about what they do. 2, extremely knowledgeable about what they do. 3, enthusiastic about what they do. And 4, and this is a key one, they got to be a good teacher at what they do. Because they can have all that other stuff, but if they're not a good teacher, it doesn't work. So, that's the second step. And then the third step, just pay them. Just pay them, right? You're paying to shortcut. Most of highly successful people, I've been in the stock market in some way, shape, or form for going on 20 years now. right? So when people pay me, they're really paying me to shorten that learning curve and tell them what not to do so they don't crash and burn, and what to do, which is the shortest path to success. So
And,
you just pay them. And somebody said nobody puts all the good stuff on YouTube for free.
that's
Think
right.
about that. They said nobody puts all the good stuff on YouTube for free. I mean, put some to, but if you really want the secret sauce and all that, they had to pay. They had to go through sweat and tears to learn what they learned. Man, the amount of money I spent to learn what I learned is staggering compared to what we charge for somebody to join our program.
Yeah, and I think that's part of one of our issues in our community is that, you know, and it's really based on, you know, what we've been taught, that we feel that we need to do it on ourselves. We can figure it out, so on and so
Mm-hmm.
forth. But, you know, business doesn't work that way. Like you said, not only is it a shortcut, it's also going to save you a lot of money. Because you're
Yeah.
going to figure it out on your own, you're going to lose a lot of money. You know, I just talked to an uncle of mine that he learned how to do stocks. I didn't even know he was doing stocks, but he learned how to do stocks on his own. He told me, look, you know, I lost 30 grand when I first learned. And you know, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
shaking my head because, you know, I found you after, way after, and we just talked about this the other day. But
Mm-hmm.
30 grand versus a couple thousand, what's a better thing there? You know, I would
Right.
rather a couple thousand, even if it didn't work, I didn't do anything for it. You know, there's some knowledge
Right.
that I put in my brain and I didn't lose a bunch of money.
Right. Right. You know, there's old saying that um, you're going to learn through one of two methods. One, life will teach you, or a mentor can teach you.
Yeah.
And usually a mentor is better, more effective, more efficient, and less costly than when life teaches you the lesson, which can be devastating, costly, demoralizing, embarrassing, and everything else. And so I'm an advocate of finding people that, you know, when I want to do something at a high level, become really proficient at it, find them and just pay them.
Yeah.
And,
And
and yeah.
and we don't get that. Like, so, and that's what we're on here for. We're trying to, you know, you may think, you know, this is coming from us, you know, we're, you know, just trying to sell a product or whatever that, you know, some people have in their minds. But there's laws to success. There's principles to success.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, these have been passed down since Babylon, right? We're not saying anything new. We're not creating a new wheel. We're going along the same path of success that's here now. It's gonna be here when we're gone, when our children are gone. Those laws are written in stone.
Mhm. Yeah, and let me just address that because it's kind of interesting in our community. They're like, well, why are you charging for it? If you make so much money, why don't you just give it away? Or why don't you do this? And it's always somebody that, you know, or I won't say always, but most times they haven't created anything, right?
Yeah,
They don't know the value of putting blood, sweat, and tears and money behind all this for years, if not decades, to come up with a viable product that helps people and educates people, and then oh, why don't you just give it away? I'll tell you what, I'll do that after you do it. After you
definitely.
spend 10 years and tens of thousands of dollars developing something, right? But they don't go like we don't go to a college professor, right? Where they're paying 30, 40, 50, $100,000 a year to go to a college. They don't go to the college professor and say, well, since you know all this, why don't you just give it away?
Yeah,
And what we're teaching is a skill set that if you went to a college and paid 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $100,000 for 1 year and then you dropped out, you got no skill set. Most of these kids, or many of them, when they're graduating with 4 year degrees, still ain't got no skill set. Whereas we're teaching a life skill set, something you can use the rest of your life.
and let
So,
me add on to
yeah.
that a little bit. So when we're talking about college, so what you have to realize, and I'm just saying you, but as our community, what we have to realize is where are we getting our information, and what is the background or the basis of that information that we're getting, right? And you have
Mm-hmm.
to study this. We all go to college. We think that you have to, and especially the older generation. Oh, you didn't go to college. You're not going to amount to anything, so on and so forth. And it's not true. All these ideologies that we have are taught to us because of a certain reason, whether that because they want us to be employees, it's a new slavery that they want us to take part in, and they just pay us for it. There's so many reasons we don't have to go into it, but research where the education system comes from, why it was started, right? And then you have to start thinking and forming your own opinion. And if you can't do that, at least go to what they teach their kids, because they're not teaching them that. They're teaching them, Johnny, go
Right.
get a Johnny, buy some real estate. Johnny, buy some stock.
Yeah.
That's what they're teaching their kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Matter of fact, I had a friend who years ago told me this story. He went to a predominantly white school, and he was telling his white roommate, he's like, "Man, I got to go out and get another job. I can't make it unless I get another job." And so his roommate or his friend said to him, "Why don't you just sell some of your stock to pay for your tuition like my parents did?" And he's like, "I don't even know what stock is." Like, what do you see? His parents passed down to him that, it's time to go to school. Hey, we're going to sell some stock. That's going to pay for it. This is how stock works, and da 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 da. But we're thinking we got to get 2 and 3, extra jobs to pay for stuff. We don't think in terms of that, and a lot of it is not our fault because we haven't been exposed. Like, it hasn't been passed down like it's been passed down in other cultures. But nowadays, there's no excuse. You can learn what you want to learn.
That's
And
it.
here's the other thing, Aziz, that I realize: price is never the issue,
No.
right? When somebody really wants something. So let me break it down. All right, for all your listening audience, let's take a Ferrari. That's uh, let's say that Ferrari is $100,000. All right, and we know it's brand new, and we know it's worth $100,000. And I come to you and I say, this thing is worth $100,000, and it's verified. You believe it. There's no question. I say, I will give this, or I will sell this to you for $3,000, but you got 24 hours to get the money if you don't have it. How many of our people would show up within 24 hours with that $3,000 because they want it? They see the value in it. They're like, oh man. So my point is, when we really want something, we find a way to get it. We find a way to get it. But a lot of it has to do with what I talked about: visible consumption. Man, I get that Ferrari, I can drive around in it and floss, and I can, I don't have to tell it people that I got it for 3,000. I can let them think I got it, for 100,000, or vice versa. I can say, man, what a great deal I got. Look how great I am in my Ferrari. It's visible, right? What's invisible is what's up here.
Yes.
Like, nobody really knows how much knowledge you have, you know. Um, and so that's your most valuable asset. It's not the car you drive, it's not the clothes you wear, it's not the house you live in. The most valuable asset you have is this right here, your mind, because that can
And
take you anywhere.
anywhere, and nobody can take it away from you. I mean,
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
kill you. Other than that,
Mhm.
you're going to have that information, and it's one of those things that you know. We first of all, we don't practice delayed gratification, and that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So Ferrari and doing all those things, and we need to change that mindset. We need to, and I think we need to come together, in my opinion, and do
Mhm.
things like this. Even if we only teaching 1 or 2 people, we're going to benefit the community. And I know you're a big advocate of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of the reasons that we had a couple initiatives. One of them was just yesterday, uh, and you part of it. And that initiative was National Shop for Stocks Day, something that had never been done before. And we created National Shop for Stocks Day, which is going to be an annual event. Yesterday was the first time we did it. And this is a day where our membership base comes together and we say, before we spend one penny on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or throughout the holidays, before we spend one penny on making these companies millions, billions, and now trillions dollar value companies, we're going to buy ownership in some of these companies. And so by buying ownership in some of these companies, then when we go into them, we're an owner. So for example, yesterday, I bought ownership in Target. So I literally can say, I'm an owner in Target. Now, people who aren't in the know, this dude is lying. He's talking about he's one of the owners. He ain't no man. You can't own no Target. They don't know.
They
I
don't know.
just went in our shopping mall, and I went shopping for ownership, and I bought some shares in Target. So now when I go in Target and go shopping, right, that's a different feeling. Like I own some of this company. Matter of fact, I might slap a little name badge on and help people buy some stuff. Y'all buy this and buy that. I'm one of the
Yeah.
owners of this thing right here, right?
And that increases your revenue. That increases your profit.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what we're looking at, buying ownership and company. So we had National Shop Stocks Day, and we celebrated that yesterday. Um, Now, as we go into the new year, we have something called Project 100K. Project 100K is where we're going to teach 100,000 of our people how to be active traders and investors in the stock market. That means outside of if you have a 401k and you have automatic contributions going to that, keep doing that. We're talking about being able to pull out your laptop, your tablet, your smartphone, and be able to find a stock, evaluate a stock, purchase a stock, and do risk assessment and monitor the stock's performance. And that's about 6 or 7 steps that when somebody teaches you it, like us, it's very easy to do. It's very duplicatable. And so we do that through our Shop for Stocks online mall. And for those who are interested in going and learning how to just go into the market literally in 15 minutes or less. Stock market opens at 9:30. We are literally done 90+% of the time by 9:45.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
yeah, people don't know anything about it. Very few people know about it,
yeah.
right? And so these are skill sets. These are skill sets that we have that we teach people. For those who are always hearing about options, and man, everybody's a lot of times you hear about stock options, and what is that? We have a product called Flip That Option. We created a game that took a very complex option strategy. We simplified it and created a game. We were featured in Black Enterprise, and a host of other websites have approached us about talking about this game and this mentorship program we put together. So these are skills. These are skills that we have. And uh, like I said, you and I have a big announcement we'll be making in the coming weeks. So looking forward to that. But it's all about the skills. It's all about the skills.
Yeah.
Um,
And what we're going to get from us, I'm speaking to the audience, is you're going to get what you need to create wealth. Now, whether you take it, whether you receive it, or how you receive it, is strictly up to you. But we're giving it to you. We've been giving it to you. And unfortunately, we don't get as many listeners or people that are actually taking action for what they've been
mhm.
given. Like you said,
Yeah, well, I was at a meeting, and one of the wealth mentors said, uh, let me define the word easy. Now, when you define a word, you're not supposed to use the word in the definition, right?
right.
But he used the word in the definition. He said, what's easy? Something that is easy. It's easy to do, but it's equally as easy not to do. And so a lot of times, people take the path of least resistance,
Yep.
right? For example, if you put a cup on a table and you take another cup of water and you pour that cup of water so that it's on the table, and you lift the table up a little bit and the water starts coming down towards the other cup, that water is going to disperse around the cup, right? That's the path of least resistance. Just go around the cup, right? And that's what most people do. They'll go around the cup. But if you have enough water, a bigger amount of water, and you pour it out, man, it'll knock that cup over. Well, do you want to be the water that's always going around the cup and, taking the least path? You just want to go and knock this stuff down. Sometimes you got to buckle down and just say, I'm going to pay this, and then I'm going to learn it, and then I'm going to do it. That's how I got to where I was at. I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to learn it. I paid somebody. Then if that wasn't enough, I couldn't stop there. Then I got to do it. That's how you got to where you're at. Learn
Exactly.
it, and doing it.
And you said it before that, and that's the key that people don't understand. That you said that when you wanted something, you said you had a specific goal in mind or a specific thing that you wanted to accomplish. And when you set out to do that, you said, no matter what I have to do, I'm going to accomplish that. And if everybody goes into that mindset with in the beginning, whether it's flipping stock business or whatever, if you have that mindset going into anything, then like I saw when with flipping that stock, that it's an opportunity, right? Because I have a specific thing that I'm trying to achieve in my life, and whatever gets me there faster, I'm going to attack that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I was just thinking as you were saying that, like I look at the things that I've done and I love to do, right? So most people who know me know I love to play a guitar and write music and stuff like that. But when I first started, man, guitar is one of the hardest instruments to play because you got to get these calluses on your fingertips when you're pressing on those steel strings. And man, that joint hurts, right? And so I remember, I had a little starter guitar, which made it even worse because it had these big, thick steel strings, and it makes you want to quit. Your hand can cramp up. It feels like your fingertips are being cut. But then I would look at George Benson playing on TV, right? And I look at these other uh, great guitarists playing, Prince and all these, and I'm like, man, they ain't quit. They kept going, right? And so I just kept because I wanted it, man. I wanted it so bad. Even the days I wanted to quit, and I almost quit on many things. Everything I've become successful at, there was a day that I wanted to quit, but something pushed me through that day, to keep going. Same thing in martial arts, man. Maybe on one of our future episodes. Matter of fact, I definitely do. I'm going to pull up some martial. I'm going to pull up our style of martial arts and show your viewers what I had to go through to get a black belt. Most people would quit on day one. On day one, when they walked in and they saw what we had to go through, and we walking into like a torture chamber, they would have turned around and went out. But I was like, no, I want this. I want this. And so I was willing to go through the torture chamber, and at times it was torture. And your mind starts saying, why are you doing this? You don't have to do this. You can go sit and just drink a soda or something, man, and relax and watch the game. Why are you driving an hour to go into a torture chamber for 2 hours, turn around, drive back home another hour all bruised up? Because I wanted it. And if you
You
don't
want it.
want it, you ain't gonna. If you don't want it bad enough, you ain't gonna get it. You're gonna be stuck with where you at and what you got. You know.
And that's what most people are going to do. And it's like you said, I think that over the years, and again, I don't think it's our fault. We're just taught differently, and we need to change what we're being taught. That our minds have went dormant. Like we want to go to that job 9 to 5. I'm doing the same thing every day, every day. I know the paycheck is coming. I know I have these bills, and we just
Mhm.
settled there as a community, right? And that's part of the plan. They want us to be settled there because. And why do you think there's so much fight now? Because they see what our potential is. They see that we can do anything that we set our
Right.
minds to do, that we can achieve. It's not just playing ball
Right.
and singing and dancing,
Right.
right? And they're afraid of that.
Yeah.
So they're not they're gonna make it harder for us to learn. So here's, like you said, here's the opportunity that you need to take this year to start learning.
Yeah. Absolutely. I saw a statistic. It said 87%, 87% of people who have a job either hate, dislike, or have no passion for that job. And if the job stopped paying them, they stop coming. 87%, that means 13% of people like, love, or have a passion for their job. So I want your listeners to think, next time you go out on the road, driving your car, look at all the cars going by, right? Almost 9 out of 10 of those people have no passion for their job, want to do their job, this, that, and the other. I couldn't even imagine getting up every day the rest of my life doing something I hate just for a paycheck. I've been there. I've been in corporate America. Man, I was making a lot of money. I was making six figures with a company car and benefits and traveling. And it got to the point where I hated it. And I left all that. And then I wrote a book, How I Quit My $100,000 a Year Job. Matter of fact, I got right. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but here it is, right there. I don't know why. There we go. So after I, uh, you know, left corporate America. Oh man. And I put that, it felt so good. It felt so good. I said, I got to write a book. It's actually an audio book. Um,
Mhm.
and and so my point is this: if you're one of those people who's getting up, going to a job you hate just for a paycheck, and yeah, I'm sure you talk to people like this too, and they say, "Man, I got 8 more years before retirement." I'm like, "Damn,
A long
eight
time.
years." I heard one person, they told me I got 14 more years, and then I was like, "Oh my God." So I don't believe in retiring. I believe in finding something you love to do and just do it till you're 6 feet under it. That's to
That's it.
me. I can't go for just doing all this other stuff. But you got to be a different thinker. You got to hang out with different people. You got to do different things, go to different seminars, read different books, get a mentor, hire a mentor and a coach. That's what it's going to take to get where you want to get to.
Yeah.
So,
And the beautiful thing about that is that, if you are in that mindset, that I have to go to work, I have to get a job, I have to get a paycheck. Once you do one thing, like for instance, you purchase the stock program. Once you get just a little taste of that,
oh man,
it's done. You're never going to want to go back to the other side again. You're going to do whatever you need to do to make sure you
yeah.
never have to go back there. Once you can set a plan to get out of it. 100%. Anybody you ask that has their own business, they went through that path, they worked, they went to school, they did all those things, and they
Mhm.
got that small taste, and they never went back.
And a lot of times you can't get that. Like, most companies, they give you what, 2 weeks a year, maybe 3 weeks or whatever for vacation. Um, and most people when they go on vacation, they're so relieved they ain't got to get up and go to work and this and that and the other, that they enjoy the freedom, but in the back of their mind, they know I got to go back in a week or two or this, that, and the other. Imagine being able to get up every day doing something that you love and you're in control of it and you have the ability to generate money based off your products or services that you create, right? Or based off of trading in the stock market or based off of doing real estate or doing something you're passionate about, right? It's I can't even
You can't
describe
explain
that
it.
feeling. You
Yeah,
can't. It's something you got to experience, and you can't experience it over a day. Like you know, once you get in this, and you're able to do it for weeks and then months, and I can't even remember the last time I got a paycheck from somebody that I was working for their company as an employee, and I had a boss and had to listen to what they were telling me. But it's probably been damn two decades, right? So nah, but and I'm not putting down people who have a job. All I'm saying is, if you don't like that job, and even if you do like that job, you need to have something on the side, a business on the side, a home-based business, flipping stocks, doing real estate, something because the tax benefits favor those who have businesses. Period.
period.
This isn't just a Trump thing. Before Trump got in office, the tax code still favored people with
Last
businesses.
100 years, right?
Yep. So these are just some things for you to think about as you go into 2024. And if you even have an inkling about getting involved in the stock market, which quite honestly you should
Yeah.
know how to trade and you should know how to invest. Hey, we'd love to have you come take a look at our program and teach you how to flip stocks, um, how to invest in companies, or what we call shop for stocks. Uh, we've been doing it a long time, and we're the best at doing
Yeah.
it. So,
I missed yesterday, man. I was running around. I forgot. I got the message. I had it on my calendar, and I wasn't able to get on. But I'm sure we can talk about doing some other things on the side here. But
yeah, I'm actually considering doing another one,
okay.
another, and this was our first year. And anytime you do something a first time, and this is a learning lesson too for anybody who does something, you do something a first time, and you look at how you did it, and you say, okay, what went great, and what could we do better, right? So one of the things that we're going to do is next year, we're going to do National Shop for Stocks Day earlier, right?
Okay.
So we get people plenty of time to line up the stocks and companies they want to buy before the holiday season. Um, and we're actually got a convention coming up, a lot of great stuff. That this is where um, this is where the action's at. This is where the skills are at. And my good friend George Frazier says if you're sitting around waiting for important people to come to you, you'll be sitting a long time because they ain't coming to you. You got to go where they're at. So when you hear about, a seminar going on or a Zoom call going on with people and they got what you want, it's incumbent upon you to get on it and you to, go to the seminar and stuff like that and show up, right? And then take action. So
Yeah. And you heard JR's mission, 100,000 people in a year, correct? Am I correct about that?
100,000 by the end of 2025.
All right. And we have the same, I haven't set a figure on there, but we're all in line, with the same mission as far as teaching our community to basically do for ourselves and not wait and rely on others. Between me, you, actually, and your brother, we have everything that anybody could ever need to build wealth. We have to go anywhere else.
Yeah. That's one thing. Sometimes we don't realize how many skills we have and, tools that we already have to do the things we want to do. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to getting with you and sitting down and mapping out the things we're going to be doing in the new year. It's going to be quite exciting. That doesn't mean it's not going to be without hurdles and bumps and bruises. That's all part of the game, right?
Part of the game.
And I'll leave you with this thought. Years ago, this is before I even started Flip That Stock. I had written the audio book, how I quit my $100,000 a year job, and I put that out. And newspaper called to interview me, right? I think it was the Washington Post. So I was getting interviewed by all these different companies because it was so crazy, like somebody to say, especially for somebody, in our culture to say we done quit $100,000 a year job with a company car and benefits. Like, we started saying that, people were like, you crazy, man. So I was getting interviewed, and the interviewer said to me, isn't it stressful being your own boss and being totally um, in charge of everything that happens in your life? I was like, oh my God, yeah, it is stressful. He said, that's what I thought. I said, but you know what's more stressful? Going to a job I hate and somebody else controlling my life. That's more stressful than any stress I've had as an entrepreneur. And so if I got to have stress anyway in my life, I'm going after freedom, doing what I want to do, and living the life and creating the life that I want to live. Because as far as I know, we only got one life on this planet. Now, maybe we come back as a plane or a tree or something, but as far as I know, we only got one.
Yeah.
And so,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying. So I'm maxing it out, and I encourage everybody who's watching this podcast, max it out, max it out.
And we talked about this a little bit before, and again, you're going to hear any successful person say the same thing, that it takes just as much effort to live an average life as it does to live an exceptional life.
Yep.
Right? It's going to be different, right? But the effort, like I said, you go to work for 40 years, you come out of retirement, and you barely making enough to pay your electric bill. We see it all the time, So that effort over 40 years, you may have a little stress, for the 10 years building your business, building your investments. But at the end of the day, you're going to be able to sit back and say, hey, I accomplished something, and I can pass that along to somebody else.
Exactly. Absolutely. And we got to get in these things that we're able to do that. The knowledge game of the stock market, real estate, owning a business, and things like that. And there's people, this is one of the biggest compliments I get, Aziz, is that, man, you're the first Black person I've met who really knows the stock market and can teach it, where it's understandable. I don't even know any Black people who are out here teaching it and stuff like that. Well, we're out here. We're out here. Ain't a lot of us, but we're out here. And so it's a matter of just connecting and getting with the right people, So those who are interested, you can go to my website, flipthatstock.com. You can see our logo in the back, flipthatstock.com, and let us know on there. You fill out a form with your name and email, and they'll say, how did you hear about us? Make sure you either put Aziz's name in or the show's name. Let us know where you came from, because folks who are coming from his show, we have an extra bonus surprise and discounts and things like that for people who come through the show. So definitely, you know, at flipthatstock.com, put Aziz's name in there, or the house that Ross built, or something referencing the show, so that we can make sure that you get your bonuses and discounts and things like that.
We appreciate that. And I know that our audience appreciates that. And at the end of the day, what he's saying, to get on flipthatstock.com and go through the demonstration, it's free. It takes what, 15, 20 minutes.
Yep.
All you have to do is do that. That's the one step you can take, whether you sign up or you don't sign up. Take the first step. That's always the hardest step. Take that first step.
Yep.
And once you see it, you're going to be like, it's for me or it's not.
Yeah. And, you know, and the first is 2 videos. The first one is 7 minutes, or a little over 7 minutes. It's going to teach you what you need to know about what is stock flipping. And then after that, the second video, I think, is about 7 minutes too. And it's going to show you actual demonstration of stock flip. You learn what it is, and now you can see it in action, right? And then you can go from there and decide, is that something that you want to do or not? Is that the skill that you want to learn? All right. All I can say is, boy, that skill has changed my life. It has changed my life.
I've only been doing it for what, less than a year now, and it's changed mine. It's changed mine. And, you know, I'm already in business. I'm real estate, so on and so forth. But the skill set that, you know, I can go anywhere, anytime, flip out my laptop, make a couple $100 and close it, and I'm done. You know, where are you going to do that at? You're not going to do that anywhere else. You know, I haven't found it. If somebody else found it, let us know.
Right. It's an incredible feeling, and just knowing, like, I know how the market works. I see it on TV all the time. I see it online. You see it in magazines and newspapers and books out there. But how many of us really know how it works and can take advantage of that and have the opportunity to go in there and make money? Not a lot of us. So that's one of the things that we're going to change with Project 100K in 2025, educating 100,000 of our people on how to be active investors and traders in the stock market. So,
and you're going to, most of our guests on here, for the most part, you know, we believe that the divide is an economics divide. It's not, you know, we want to say race, we want to say that, which it plays a part, but right now it's economics, right? Because if you own your own thing, you don't need to rely on other people, and you have a community that is sticking together, that's learning together, that's building wealth together. Who's getting in your way? Who's standing in your way? We did it before, after slavery, and we got off of it. Now we need to get back to it.
Absolutely. I'm with you, brother.
Appreciate you. So we look forward to some great news that we're coming out with in this next year. And just stay tuned. As always, JR, we appreciate you.
Hey, thank you so much. Love what you're doing, man. Keep doing it. And anytime you need me to come on, I'm down with it. When the house of that Ross built calls, I'm here.
Absolutely. Appreciate that. Check them out. Flip that stock. Check them out, like I said, and put the information in. And if you need to, reach out to them. I think on there is that info. You have an info email on there, right? On the website.
Well, when they go to flipthatstock.com, up at the top right corner, it says contact us. You know, you can hit that and send us a message, and we'll get back to you very quickly.
Sounds good. We appreciate it, brother.